The escalating global crisis in strategic areas of the Pacific Ocean, with its complex mountainous terrain and the perilous 180-mile-long Taiwan Strait, is of grave concern around the world. China continues to attempt to invade Taiwan, preparing for large-scale amphibious operations after recent aggressive military exercises demonstrating its determination to seize the island. However, the US and other foreign players in the region are also closely monitoring these efforts and have unexpectedly counterattacked Chinese military maneuvers and amphibious operations. The latest example was China's actions to demonstrate its naval power to gain control of the island. With the world's largest navy, the Chinese military has built hundreds of dual-purpose ships that can be used in both peacetime and wartime. However, China had questionable capabilities for amphibious warfare. Recognizing this weakness, China took shocking measures to increase its blockade of the island. The Chinese military began building an entire armada of ferries and civilian vessels to invade Taiwan as the Beijing leadership intensified its repressive campaign against the island republic. Although the Chinese army lacked the landing boats needed for such an assault, it attempted to bridge the gap with civilian vessels, including dozens of huge rocking ships. These ferries, capable of carrying hundreds of armored vehicles, were deployed around Taiwan to portray the invasion to the Beijing leadership. However, these civilian ferries are unlikely to be suitable for such an operation under fire. The Chinese military may be planning to use them to mass troop movements across the Taiwan Strait after suppressing coastal defenses or to overwhelm the island with a huge force. According to a US study, Beijing issued technical instructions to shipbuilders a decade ago so that most civilian vessels could be used for military purposes. China has incorporated its ferries, tankers, and container ships into the military command system. Official Chinese media have praised these initiatives for years, often pointing to the ship's participation in overseas landing exercises. Analysts believe that by 2022, China's civilian vessels could significantly increase military cargo tonnage compared to today's landing ships, providing a payload capacity of about 300,000 tons. Given that troops and equipment of this scale can cross the Taiwan Strait in about 10 days, the situation becomes critical. While the idea of using passenger ferries in a conflict zone may seem strange, it demonstrates the extent to which the commercial sector is spliced into the military policies of the ruling Communist Party and the Beijing government. Therefore, military strategists and combat experts believe that the Taiwanese and US intelligence communities should start monitoring China's large civilian vessels in the same way they monitor the Navy. Analysts add that this also makes defense planning much more difficult. The civilian ferries embody China's broader concept of civil-military integration, where civilian assets and capabilities are an integral part of a nationwide national security effort, said Alessio Preliano, a professor of war and strategy in East Asia. While it is difficult to assess whether the movements of the passenger ferry are preparations for war, China's larger goals are clear. So what military strategies are Taiwan, the US, and other players in the region adopting to counter the threat of a Chinese landing? In response to China's attempts to land ferries on the island, Taiwan's foreign ministry has called on China to exercise caution and stop undermining peace and stability in the Taiwan Strait and beyond. Taiwan also called on the international community to call on China to stop these attempted incursions. The US and the Netherlands have recently taken significant steps together to reduce tensions in the region and deter China's ambitions to attack Taiwan. The US and Dutch navies conducted bilateral exercises in the South China Sea. Participants included the dry cargo ship USNS Wally Schara, the small littoral combat ship USS Mobile, and the Royal Netherlands Navy frigate Hilmus Tromp. These joint operations have provided invaluable opportunities to practice complex scenarios and enhance joint readiness and interoperability among allies. The U.S. Navy now regularly conducts large-scale maritime exercises and operations with allies and partners to build deterrent capabilities, improve interoperability, and demonstrate collective resolve. However, China's concerns go beyond the naval power of the United States and the Netherlands. Japan actively opposes Beijing's military organization to invade Taiwan. For the first time, Japan's self-defense force will participate in the U.S. military's Valiant Shield exercise, which will be partially held in Japan. Besides Japan, The Philippines is also wary of China's threatening regional policy in the South China Sea. Manila has a mutual defense treaty with Washington, so this growing maritime crisis is becoming part of the geopolitical standoff between the US and China. The Philippines is calling for an end to China's incursion to reduce tensions. Australia also opposes China's tight blockade of Taiwan. Prime Minister Anthony Albanese called absolutely outrageous an incident in which a Chinese fighter jet dropped decoys in the direction of an Australian military helicopter over international waters in the Yellow Sea. Australia has called on China to refrain from such threatening and dangerous actions in the region. Overall, virtually the entire world is concerned about China's policy of invading Taiwan. Although the U.S. Department of Defense has stated that China should not undertake such an attack, the U.S. and its coalition partners are expected to continue working to address this occupation threat. However, it is believed that much tougher measures will be required to deter China and Taiwan. Among these restrictive actions, increased economic sanctions against China are predicted, as economic battles are expected to come to the forefront as a determinant of conflicts on the front lines in the future. Thank you for watching this video. Don't forget to put a like and subscribe to our channel so that you don't miss the next topical news and analysis. I wish you peace, prosperity, and strength to face any threats to justice and freedom. See you soon.